and the Capital Readiness Program allows us to be able to put this on for you guys. So thank you to them for their sponsorship and support. And you're now sitting in the FAMU incubator, so what's known as the FANG incubator. So we've got this program. So kind of a linear progression is you're working with the SBC as a client, you're signing up for these classes, we're getting you all the basic information, and then we have an incubator program which has got a 3 to 6 month program that covers multifaceted about your business. So stay tuned for more of that to come, launching in the months to come. But we are, as you exit, you'll see a little bit of there's a banner there, and you can scan the QR code. It'll take you to the website, and it's for both sides, like new and startup businesses or existing businesses. So we've got programs for both. So you're at the Pitch Lab, same thing. So transforming stories and opportunities. So we've got a small group here today. So we'll get a little, you guys get me for as much time as you want to talk about whichever piece of this that you want to talk about. But I mentioned to you before that pitch can't be just one class. Pitch is a multifaceted workshop, boot camp, if you will, because there's so many different components to talk about. And so we'll look at a little bit of last week. So week 2 is mastering presentation, skills to deliver a pitch with confidence and impact. And then by the end of today, you'll be able to have some practical techniques. I'm not going to tell you too much that you probably don't already know about public speaking and stage presence and those types of things. But the secret to all this is when you go through this pitch and you have your story and you have your talking points and you have all that, the confidence just comes because you don't have to worry about the content anymore, right? You're able to engage and make eye contact and take a step forward and talk to that individual and kind of command the stage and take the presence and those types of things because you're confident in what you're talking about now, right? So that's kind of the whole idea. Here's a quick course timeline reminder. We went through week 1 already. We're in week 2. And again, we set these dates. We've got 2 weeks in between so that you can do a lot of work. And if something doesn't work, I think somebody told me that they have some doctor's appointments or things that they're not able to be here on a specific day. You've got the week before, and we've got the Slack channel. Happy to talk to you more about the Slack. You can provide updates for me about where you are in the Slack channel. And you can even video, some of your stuff and share. If you don't want to type a lot of stuff, you can send me a video. You'll see a video of me in there welcoming everybody to the class. So you can just hit that video thing and record yourself and say, hey, Rich, I've got questions on a couple of things, and I'll be happy to reply. I think somebody joined the Slack channel last night at like 9 o'clock, and I was immediately like, hey, welcome, share some stuff about yourself for the group. So that's a great place. I get those on my phone all the time, so it's on me all the time. So if one of these dates don't work for you, we're completely flexible. We talked a little bit this morning before the class kicked off that there may be some hybrid options. Can we get it videoed, and we'll work on that, and I'll provide you with updates in the Slack channel. So first we're going to review some week 1 stories, and then we'll dive into the presentation tips. Oops, went too fast. So just a quick week 2 overview, what we can, so presentation skills, trying to get to that point of the maximum impact, right? Trying to really not just own the stage, but just get comfortable with ourselves and delivering the content about our business. So wherever you are, and I use the stage. I mean, I wouldn't imagine myself doing these classes, but I've just been talking about business and starting business over the course of like 20 years. So I just have all these kind of scenarios and things that I can talk to you about. But you'll get to that point where you have started a business or run your business or sold a business, and all these things are experiences. So at the end of the day, I'm just a consultant. It is your business. These are your decisions, and you pick and choose the path that makes the most sense to you. I provide you with tools, resources, connections, classes, real life experiences, but I can also tell you ones that are, okay, made a mistake doing that, I would do it different this way, right? So you have to go through those types of things. So whole thing is just getting comfortable with your business and getting comfortable with yourself. You can get into the whole psychology of persuasion and the audience engagement. There's so many different things. I mean, I don't know if you guys subscribe to any YouTube channels, but YouTube is really actually a business to look at right now. You had mentioned AI, like from a marketing and a sales front, a YouTube and a content perspective, AI has kind of allowed us all to hit the reset button. So if you felt like you were really behind, like, I'm not sure about these funnels and these leads and how they're selling or whatever, everybody's basically like trying to integrate the AI now. So now is a great time to really step into those tools. Point to that is look at somebody talking, and everybody wants to give their own opinion, how to be persuasive. And there's some good tips when you're telling a story. You know, it's like engaging. Where are the pauses for impact or empathy when you're telling a story? And then how do you step into the story when you start talking, right? And it feels like that. There are subtle little things when you're talking, especially if your business is, has a really heartwarming or touching story. Maybe it's a nonprofit and it's built around fundraising or education or a medical situation where you're telling a story of something that happened to a loved one and this is why you got into the business. Those type of compelling things and those pauses really resonate with the audience. So that's the whole kind of the psychology of telling your story, right? Just techniques on being confident. And we're going to do a few like kind of hands-on activities and stuff. But don't worry if you're not there for like the hands-on and you're not sure. That's why I give you the 2 weeks in between so that you can work on it, share it with me independently if you want. I encourage the collaboration in the cohort and the Slack channel and be able to share and get that feedback. And then there's always a little bit of homework, right? And that's just working on the refinement of the processes. All right, so bridging weeks 1 and 2. So crafting clear and compelling value proposition, problem solving, impact frameworks, business story. A lot of words to talk about, hey, what are we doing with our story and how are we bringing it into the next level and how we tell the story, right? Week 2, focus on master presentation skills and turning strong content into a compelling, persuasive pitch. So we're all here about the pitch. And it doesn't just have to be the pitch for the elevator pitch, the 30-second or the 60-second. There's different versions of the pitch. But what we're really focusing on this workshop for the Pitch Lab is for you to be able to talk about your business in a networking or meeting type environment setting, right? You go to an after 5 networking or something and someone says, hi, I'm Rich and I'm a consultant and I work for, what do you do, right? And it's just practicing that. So hopefully over the course of this class, you will have perfected that when somebody asks you that, or depending on where you are, what the event is, if you do a couple of things, maybe you have a couple of businesses or you also have what stage are you entering? You know, which component are you going to talk about? And then when someone tells you about their business, you immediately go, oh, I need to talk to this individual about this specific component of my business and not everything that we do. So, and it's also about intent. So we go to those meetings, we go to networking things to meet specific people. You know, if you go to a conference to learn, look at the attendee list. Where are these other people coming from? What part of the country? How can you learn from not just the presenters, but the other people? Seek out the people at those events and connect with them. Always be intentional of what you do. Just a quick story there to talk about the intent, right? I'm working with someone that has a food truck. And so it's like, you don't just pull up to a random street, random corner and park and hope to sell, right? We're going to do our homework. We're going to look at the surrounding buildings. Or, you know, am I near a college campus or am I near state buildings? State buildings here. And even from a state employee perspective, when do state employees get paid? You know, if they're getting paid on the 15th and the 30th, those are the days that I want to be out with my food truck because we just got paid, they've got some money to go to, and you can see that. That's obvious in the restaurants here. Those days are packed. So we don't just go and set up our food truck on the same corner and stay for 4 hours Monday through Friday. We go on the 15th and we go on the 30th, and then we measure that data, right? How did we do? So that's the intent, so we just do it with intention. And please stop me at any point And I've got these loaded and I can share it. If you're not in the Slack channel, happy to send you the PDF so that you can go through these kind of types of things. But I won't go through all of this. This is just where last week we focused on the strong value proposition, getting clear on what you offer. That is the biggest thing. So when it actually comes down to doing the pitch deck and you're putting together a presentation, there's about 11 basic slides that you need. You know, one is the company, the name of the company. And then the next two slides are basically, what's the problem that you're solving? And then the solution is your company. So we're identifying that our company and what we do solves a problem. And then how do we do it is the strong value proposition. How we do what we do better than our competition is what separates us to be successful. And that's where we really want to focus on, right? I used the t-shirt company example last time. Hey, I want to start a t-shirt company. That's great, but tell me why someone's going to buy from you as opposed to the other 12 t-shirt companies. So do you do it faster? Do you do it quicker? Is it a sustainable product? Is it the price? Is it your mission because you don't collect a profit? All of your proceeds go to charity? What is it that is that strong value proposition about you? And then you use that problem solution impact framework from lesson 1 to walk through how to get there. Yes, ma'am.
With the value proposition, if you're, okay, because I'm thinking about having like an overall company and other, small business
right.
under it. So with that, you have a value proposition for each area?
Yeah, so say that you're a corporation, right? And your focus is growing other businesses. So you talk to other businesses and you start other businesses. So you may have 10 businesses under that parent company, but you're going to have a mission and vision and value proposition for that parent company that says, work with me as the consultant because I'm going to help you to grow, scale, and sell your business.
And then for the other company,
they all have value. Correct. Because they're all unique, right? One might be a bakery, one might be a coffee shop, one might be, a spa or salon. And that's the hard part when it comes to us entrepreneurs, right? We may have 2 or 3 different, but it's the same. But once you go through this one time, and it takes a lot to do the mission and vision and to really get it, you'll write and write and write and write, and then you'll condense and condense. And going back to AI, the chat GPT is a great tool to be able to say, hey, how do we make this concise? But just remember, you're doing the mission and vision. The mission is what we do. The vision is how we do it, how we get there. So, but great question. Thank you, yeah. And now that we define the value proposition, we transitioned on how to communicate it more effectively. So this week we'll focus on the voice and the tone, the body language, the engagement techniques, which we already touched on a little bit. And then the goal for this week is just to be more confident. In my private consulting business, my mission is we provide confidence and clarity and transparency. So I'm very transparent about what we do. And like I said, I'm just a consultant. I'm offering things and I hold you accountable. It's there's homework, we do the homework. But if you know that you have to come to a class or you have to come to a meeting, you're going to do it. Even if you do it the night before or a couple of hours before class, there's that level of accountability that we're holding a standard to that makes you. So you've already taken the first step by being here today, right? You know I want to do something. There's something in my business that I want to be able to do, that I want to move forward. So that's providing the confidence and the clarity. All right, so as we get a few more people in, welcome. Just sign in and grab a seat. And so some of our what we worked on in week 1, and we did some homework, the stories and the values. I would love to hear from you. And this is open discussion and no pressure. If you're not at a point where you're ready, that's okay. That's totally okay. Any seat you want to take. And I'll just kind of go through. So what I provided last week was the brand story worksheet and the mission statement worksheet. And we were just going to take some time to discuss that. And really these, again, are just tools for you to go through the exercise. Okay, you haven't done this before. Maybe you have, or maybe you haven't done it with intent. So a couple of these are kind of long. The brand story one is kind of like all-encompassing. There's a lot of information on there, and that's for you.
A printout of that one?
Yeah, I sure do. You need another one? Okay, perfect. And then the mission statement is also an exercise. And again, I encourage, there's lots of online tools that allow you to walk through these exercises and stuff. But let me grab one for you while everybody else is getting settled. Which one?
What she's on, what you're getting.
Okay. I've got 2 copies with me. Brand story. Okay.
I'll look over with him.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have the brand story? That's the mission. You got the mission. You want the brand story.
Okay.
I think you
You, ne- you
Okay,
Yeah.
whichever you have, so.
same one.
Okay.
So there's the mission one. I've got the mission one. I'll have to give you another copy of the. But if you also have your laptop, I can show you where it is on the online.
I do. I went
Okay.
here that first week, so I can just work off this.
Yes,
and
that's
then pull.
perfect. Yep, yep. And again, we've allowed kind of 2 weeks between these classes for you to spend some time at home to work on these things. And this is your workshop, so I will move this around. I'm not going to push you into week 3. So if we need to spend more time on week 1 and give you time to do this, but we also build in some time in class for you to be able to share and stuff. So the brand story worksheet has outlined a lot of stuff in there. So let's just take it from there. Has anybody had a chance to kind of look at it, and anything that you want to share? Or I'm hoping it's pretty straightforward, and it's just giving you opportunity to be able to think about these things. But the thing to keep in mind is all of these things that you're putting down is the exercise of putting the pen to paper, so that you can use or not use or determine what to use when you're putting together your pitch and your story. So if we need time outside of class, but if anybody has anything they want to share, or an example of something that they think they're going to push forward with, I'd love to hear it. No, not yet. You good?
So is it, you're asking in general?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
any, yeah,
This is
any,
my first time in here.
yeah.
But I have, so I definitely do work on my brand story, because every time I start to talk about it, I'm like, I do this. But it's I have a passion to help women navigate insecurity and feelings of unworthiness.
Okay.
So I'm a writer, and I've written material to help them with that. But whenever I start to think about the story of it, I know this will be helpful for me, because there's so many different things that
Right.
come up. And I don't like people to get lost in the narrative of all my stories, that I don't get to the point. So I can see this being very helpful.
Yeah, so the whole thing is going through that and identifying the things. And these things are meant to be fluid. It should change. If you've started a business plan, it should also be fluid, right? The industry changes, the patterns change, customer behaviors change. We just came off the pandemic. I mean, where you had people that couldn't go out to restaurants, you couldn't go anywhere, right? Like, how do we shift and pivot as business owners, and then how do we adopt our business plans and our story to be able to come out of that then and say, hey, I'm a business survivor of the pandemic, and this is what I did. Or my business started during the pandemic, and this is how I had to change my model to adapt. So all of those things are part of not just our mission or our vision, especially if we were starting at that point, but it's like, how do we use those things then to tell our story? So I'll go back real quick. It's like, so the pitch, when they talked about the pitch class, it was like, you can't do pitch class in 90 minutes, right? You can't do it in one sitting, because there's a lot to talk about with the storytelling and creating your mission and vision. And this is a really big step. I mean, I would encourage all of you to look through this information and to spend some time on it. And if you're in business with a co-founder or a partner or a business partner, you should be talking about this together. This is not something to be done in a vacuum, and then you should share it with someone else. I talked a little bit last week. Don't share it with your brother or your sister or your loved one. Share it with a customer. Share it with somebody that's going to buy your product. Okay? You don't want just general kind of, oh, that's not, like comforting feedback. You want someone that's going to be that school of hard knocks this and tell you straightforward. I mean, right? Because we need to know like how this is going to resonate with our customers. So what I'll do is I'll kind of move forward and we can talk some more about how to share this information via email or in the Slack channel. We talked a little bit before you guys came in about being able to video yourself and then uploading it and working on that. And then providing that, I video all my talks just so that I can go back and when I'm engaging with the attendees and we get stuck on a section, is it because I didn't explain something or is it because that needs to be really a bigger focus? And then I can adapt the presentation to build out storytelling and mission and vision into the full first 2 weeks, which I'm thinking I'm going to do, right? We're spending a lot of time on that, and that's okay. So that's kind of where we are. So questions before I kind of move forward? Yes?
Share the videos by chance? Because I would love to.
Yeah, we just talked about that. I didn't really have enough people yet joining the channel to get that response, but if we do, then I'm going to put it up on there. So I have the week 1 presentation and the week 2 presentation already loaded.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I would like that to be a place where you can, but be comfortable. It's a test. It's just one tool that I personally use, that I've used it for other cohorts and other things, or I've been cohorts on different organizations, and it's just one that we can build out. We were talking earlier about Google and the things that it does as well. So it's just one thing, and it's not required. It would be something that hopefully, I've been in a couple of these things before, and you just kind of, you go through the class with some of the people and you're like, oh, I wish I had a way to reach back out. I didn't get their card or whatever. Like, we'll keep that cohort channel open so that you guys can interact and ask questions and things like that. So this is the value proposition sample that we kind of talked about. So the problem is the small business struggles to navigate the complexity of digital marketing and often wastes resources and ineffective strategies. So that's probably one we can all kind of resonate with. How do we do, a lot of people that come to SBDC, if it's not they're starting their business, they need help with marketing, right? How do I get people to know about me? How do I get them in the store? What do we need to do? Digital marketing is a great one because it's not just a printed flyer or it's just not a Facebook page. It's like, how are we actually getting people, and how much time do we spend Googling digital marketing companies in Tallahassee, or how much time do you spend on Meta posting ads or boosting your socials and that kind of stuff? And is it effective? How do we measure it? Right? So we need to think about that. So that's the problem. That I'm hoping that we all have had some experience with either marketing or digital marketing. What's the best way to do it? So solution. Our digital marketing service provides tailored strategies that help small businesses boost online presence and drive measurable growth through targeted data-driven campaigns. So here's a company that has identified a problem in the small business community and says, hey, here's how we do it. This is what our company does. We're not all things to everyone. We're focused on digital marketing specifically. Maybe they do the creative, maybe they post the ads for you, that kind of stuff. And then hopefully they've got some tiered packages that's from affordable to top of line kind of stuff, right? And you graduate through their program. So the impact sample for this company would be, by working with us, businesses see a 30% increase in website traffic and a 25% growth in leads within the first 6 months. Would I sign up for that? Yeah, if they're putting some results, so when you're looking for vendors or people to work with, impact, what's their impact? Ask them who they're working for, who they're working with, what their customers are, what their return is with those customers. And if you know somebody that's in that business that they're working with, hey, how was it working with that company? Did they do what they said they do as advertised? Ask them for case studies. But when you're looking for people, and this is taking you through how to set up your value proposition, this is just a sample of how to do it. All the time people want to know if they're signing up for something, they're going to go to the testimonials, they're going to look for results, they're going to look for those types of things that provide impact.
What if
So,
you have a new business that doesn't have any?
yeah, right. That's a great question because that's a lot of us. I work with a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs in the creative industry, graphic designers, photographers, videographers, and same question, how do we do it? Can I take your photo, post it? Can you give me a testimonial? Can I do some design work for you? Can I build a website for you at little to no cost? Because I'm using it as a case study. One, it's a symbiotic relationship. I get to perfect my craft as a photographer or designer, and I get better. And then I'm providing you a product at little to no cost that you can then in turn give me a testimonial on LinkedIn or 5 stars on my Google business review, right? You've got to build it, but you have to do it with intent. So you have to outline those ways to do it and then figure it out. So yeah, there's some bartering and trading in the beginning, but we got to move past that quick because it's all about generating revenue. So
The reason I asked that is I saw a really ingenious way of doing this recently. The woman has a 6-week weight loss program or something like that. And she says that she will do it for 6 weeks. You have a coach and it's completely free. So of course I go down the rabbit hole because I want to know what it's about. And then the way she has it set up is that she had someone say, well, these are the 3 things that we want for people to have as their goals. And she said, if you meet those goals, then you qualify for our program, but here's the catch. You have to put in a $200 refundable deposit. So if you go through the program and you jump through all the hoops that we tell you to jump through, then you get your money back at the end. If you don't, okay, sarah.
Right.
And one of the requirements that she has is that you provide them with one of 3 different types of testimonials, either a written
Right.
testimonial or a picture, before and after picture, or a video testimonial.
yeah, there are so many things to take away from that. Great example. Thanks for sharing. Right? There's a value. At the core of everything that we do, there has to be value. In order for me to put this class on to next week, I have to give you information that you see of value that you can actually use, right? Sometimes we go to a class, we hear a talking head, and then they send you back out and they say good luck and you never see them again, right? There has to be some handouts, there has to be some homework, there has to be some accountability, and there has to be some back and forth conversation. I'm trying to break down that specific example, and I love it so much because that's the classic case of a sales funnel, right? Provide the value, you put it out there, maybe it's digital marketing, maybe it's a print ad, maybe it's radio, you offer the free 6 weeks, you get them in, but she's counting on a certain percentage of people to default on the deposit, and that's just 100% profit, right? Great way to start. And we can do those types of things. When we're launching a business and you're doing your proof of concept, we have to prove that this business has validity in the market. So how do we prove that our solution works? And the answer to that is customers. But if you're just setting up your business and you don't have the customers and you go to the bank and people are like, how many sales have you made? Okay, so a good way to do that is to set up a sales funnel, create an offer, get people to go to a landing page where you're collecting an email address, or they're signing up as early adopters. If you have some type of, if it's a gym or a subscription model or something, would you sign up now for a discounted rate of $25 a month as an early adopter? You'll get the $25 a month for the first 6 months after we roll out the product, and then you'll get a discounted rate for the rest of the year. After we launch to the public, it's going to be $99 a month. right? So it does two things. Generates revenue, so we've got cash in the bank to do what we need to do, and then it proves that we've got 100 customers that signed up.
Yes, that's great. I was just gonna share something similar to what you just shared.
Please.
It happened yesterday, and I'm still amazed, but I'm so grateful. You ever have something you really need, and it becomes available, you know, and I have diabetes. And so I went through a leadership program with a woman who has a business, and she helps people reverse the diabetes, or basically help your body do the healthy things that it's supposed to do naturally, and help you heal as best as you can with that condition, okay?
Sure.
So anyway, she's amazing, but her program is an investment. I won't say it's expensive, but it's an investment. It's more than what I have to do for that. But there's other programs I know of that are not nearly as valuable as hers, and they're costing a bunch of money, you know. So I've been trying to see if I could work with her and how it could work out.
Right.
And yesterday I called her with this real genuine question about something, and she says, you know what, Felicia, I really want to help you. Can we work together, exchange for a testimonial? I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'll do a video testimonial, you know, tell me what you need. And she was like, she's so kind. And then this is the part that really, really was dynamic for me. She said, I have an affiliate program. And so for every 3 people you refer, and I already know she's she's already helped
Right.
me with, I've seen her change it already, major changes. So, because we've been in talks, but I hadn't been able to invest. But anyway, so yesterday was official day, starts, and I'm already eating better today, and I'm feeling changes. And she says, for every 3 people that sign up, I will pay you $1,000. And so I'm already thinking of people that I know that I just know will feel better.
Right.
Yeah, and that want to be helped. It's not about a certain size. It's I want to live. You know.
Right.
So.
And that's a great point, and thank you. The referral piece. We do that as well. I mean, so as a private consultant, when you're saying, hey, hire us to help you at X amount of dollars per month, well, that may not, it's always about the budget. There's some affordability. Okay, what if we do it for half, but in agreement, you send me 3 good referrals? So if you send me 3 good people that I can contact or that book a meeting with me, and we kind of do it even, you know, a little bit looser. We're like, we just want the meeting, and hopefully we can persuade them to sign up. And then if they sign up, then there's some value back to the person that referred them, or they get a consulted discount rate to continue with that type of thing. So, yeah, great questions. It's like, how do we have to get creative, right? We have to get super creative with getting those case studies and getting the testimonials. But it's all about the value. Like, if there's no value in it, we can't do it at all. So I don't know if you guys know me from Impact Week. So we do the small business conference down at the Challenger Center. So that's our nonprofit. And we do that solely to provide value to the small business community. We get talkers on the stage, and we had that. And then we were kind of missing a piece. So it's like, how do we add more value? And we did the workshop. So we had someone speak about their business and what they do. And then they said, join me at my breakout session. Bring your laptop. I'm going to show you how to redo your LinkedIn profile. Or I'm going to show you how to do a component of AI. But their funnel is, I talked, you heard about me, got you in the funnel, come to the workshop, you're seeing some value. I just gave you part 1 at no charge for free. You want to do more? Sign up for parts 3 through 5 at maybe an Impact Week discounted rate or whatever, right? But and you have to want to do that, and you have to realize that's an opportunity, right? We provide a free stage for them to be able to talk about their business and what they do. And then all the money we raise goes back to those individuals that help us put on. So we hired 6 food trucks. All that money came out of the tickets that we raised. We hired a videographer, music, an MC, you know, all those people that help put on the thing, all are small businesses. So we supported 22 small businesses through that, and we use all that money to pay them to do that. Because the mission is to put the money back into the community. And so we're trying to take and be creative and do things, and because there's a lack of access to capital. So if we can provide an opportunity for jobs and things like that, how do we continue to promote each other and do those things to help each other? They get to come and they do the photography and they get better at their craft and they get the word out, right? So those types of things. So that's a great, kind of community ecosystem promotion thing, and how I say get out and network. Because as you go through this class and you perfect, go meet more people, talk about your pitch and talk about your business, and you just get better. Yes, sir.
I've been connected with individuals who will offer to give a percentage of a contract just for an introduction that leads to a
Right.
Agreement. Because if you didn't make that connection, they would not have gotten the job, or you introduced them to a new area that they may not have sought out. So you use your networks as well to connect people.
Absolutely.
That's how you get as a consultant or whatever.
Yeah, we have an unpaid internship program, but I offer them commission on any product that we sell. If they bring in a customer that says, hey, we'd love to use you as a consultant, or can you help us build a website or a brand or whatever, then we give them commission for that. But the value is we're helping them work with clients. So they get to be in on calls, they get to go to client meetings, and I just had one that reached out to a client on her own, and she said, are you going to be on the call? And I said, no, this is you learning how to have a customer, and you're taking the notes and you're logging it and you're using the tools that we provided. So, and then hopefully we're building the next workforce, that type of thing. So, all right, so value proposition, storytelling, all this goes into, yes?
With impact. So if you're just starting out, like how long should you do like the sales funnel to get some numbers if you're just starting out? Like
I mean, there is no time. It's just like how long does it take you to get it? What are you doing to be able to get to this? And you might not have something like this where you have to identify a customer that allows you to get those numbers, right? It may just be that testimonial that says, hey, I worked with such and such, and they are a great company to work with, and they helped me do a number of various things. But it'll be on you to go, okay, we have to implement those KPIs. So when I'm working with that client, what are we trying to achieve for them? And then we can get to the numbers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Key performance indicator.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same thing as the performance evaluation. So if you hire an employee, how well are they doing their job? Well, if you don't provide them with some documentation that says these are your key roles and what I expect you to do, and then you let them go because they're not doing their job, they can say, well, you never told me what I was supposed to be doing. So an evaluation is a great example of a key performance indicator. Our key performance indicators are, we want to bring in 12 new clients this year. We want to sell 30% more product than we did last year. We're trying to achieve this in quarter 1, 2, 3, and how we build and scale our business. Or we sell this product. We're a coffee shop, but we want to sell baked goods, and we want to do how much are we selling in each lane, and what are we doing, and we're setting our own KPIs and our own goals. But great question, thank you.
Can I use that pen on that?
Yes. So that kind of moves us into week 2 as we're in part of, but that's okay. This is your class, this is your workshop. This is why I love the size of this, so we can ebb and flow as much as we want to. So I touched a little bit on the psychology of persuasion just before a couple people entered. And so persuasion matters, understanding how people process information and make decisions. It's a little bit of the customer behavior journey. Like, how does your customer react? There's plenty of seats over here if anyone wants to join, or you can wheel it down here. So core principles, reciprocity, like give value first. So you'll hear me say that a lot. I say give value instead of reciprocity. So authority, establishing credibility, social proof, showing success stories, and scarcity, creating urgency. So these are the things that we're doing during our pitch, right? And I don't know how the audio is going to be on this. We'll see. Hey, welcome. Let's see if it'll. don't know if this will.
It changed the. This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
This is an example of just a little bit of a pitch, right?
Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. And Apple has been, well, first of all, one's very fortunate if you get to work on just one of these in your career. Apple's been very fortunate. It's been able to introduce a few of these into the world. In 1984, we introduced the Macintosh. It didn't just change Apple, it changed the whole computer industry. In 2001, we introduced the first iPod. And it didn't just change the way we all listen to music. It changed the entire music industry. Well, today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone.
At Mint Mobile, we're always looking for innovative ways to save you money, so you can keep paying $15 a month for premium wireless. That's why.
Gotta love YouTube, right?
And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. So, 3 things. A widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. And here it is. No. Actually, here it is, but we're going to leave it there for now. So, before we get into it, let me talk about a category of things. The most advanced phones are called smartphones, so they say. And they typically combine a phone plus some email capability, plus they say it's the internet, sort of the baby internet in the one device, and they all have these plastic little keyboards on them. And the problem is that they're...
So I'm going to pause it there. And turn the lights back up for a second. So how many people had actually seen that? Have you guys seen that before? So yeah, obviously Steve Jobs, one of the great communicators, right? Always did that keynote, did it for many years, got much better at it over the years, right? And introduced a lot more humor in his later years of life. But obviously, when he's talking about the iPhone, right, he's talking about the value. They're talking about Apple, and they're talking about establishing credibility. If you go on and watch a little bit more of it, he did a little bit of the success of Apple, and then he creates the urgency at the end, right? It's always like, and we're releasing this on the website. You can pre-buy now. They're the ones that do the pre-sales. Pre-buy the iPhone now before they even and get it right, and before you can even get logged on, they're sold out. Type of thing. So yeah, I would encourage you to kind of watch the rest of that. But this is just kind of the breakdown. So he starts out talking about how Apple has always been dedicated to creating the best user experience. What you didn't get to see, he talks about the user interface and him designing fonts. And you know, he was a designer by nature. He dropped out of school and actually got more out of because he had to go to all these classes that he was supposed to go to, but as soon as he dropped out of school, he could actually, there was a time period where you could sit in on the classes. So he would actually sit in on the classes that he wanted to attend, and he did a calligraphy class. And he said he learned more of that calligraphy class than any of the other stuff that he did. And that's where he started learning about fonts and stuff. So that kind of gave him the concept of Apple. And then when you move into the Adobe programs and all the font choices and all the design programs, and having Apple be more of a design type style computer, because it was very purposeful. It wasn't for the masses. There was a very intentional audience for the Apple. So he kind of goes into that a bit and set up the idea that, you know, there was already so much innovation to customers, so they'd be more open to embracing the next big thing, right? He framed Apple as industry leader, referencing successes, iPod, Mac, etc. Social proof, he showed massive popularity of iPods and how people loved their products, right? He's been working on this for a long time. I mean, it's like he could see this vision 30 years, so unique mind already. So, and then he hyped the exclusivity of like this technology and how it's kind of, right? It's a niche group, and it still is, you know. So Jobs didn't just talk about features. He used persuasion techniques to create excitement, creatability, and you'll see that. You can think about, you know, the humor and him kind of taking that step and engaging in the audience, that kind of, and just kind of commanding the stage a bit. So, and that's where you get into kind of the posture and the presence and the confident and compelling speaking. Tone, pace, emphasis, where does he speed up, where does he slow down? But these are professional speakers. You know, I still need slide decks. And one of the things I talked about in week one was when I was at a conference and I was listening to this gentleman talk. No talking points, no teleprompter, no slide deck, telling his entire entrepreneurial journey from childhood business startup, and he could tell it to you almost verbatim as he would 6 weeks ago, as he would 12 weeks from now in different locations. Just had it, and there are just people that can do that. I have to have reference points to keep me on track, right? One, because I get excited and we start to talk about lots of different things, so it's a good place to keep you. But so I've tried to take these things, and you know, as we talk about these things too, you'll get better at like making that contact and talking to people and getting more confident. Every time you do one of these pitches or one of these workshops, or you're practicing on your camera and you're looking at yourself and you're like, oh man, I really stumbled on that. But you didn't stumble because you stumbled over your words. You stumbled because there wasn't clarity in the mission or what the service or what the products are. Once you refine that and you go, this is who we are and this is what we do and this is how we do it, then the clarity and the confidence comes from the content that you've cleaned up, right? So obviously handling nerves, right? Talking to people, just getting out and networking and getting over that kind of stuff helps with the confidence of all that. So this, I kind of built in some activities. So, and I know we're kind of not there yet, but we're kind of expanding on that kind of stuff. So if you want, you can take a few minutes and kind of think about any component of your mission and vision, and try to just kind of make a note maybe on your worksheet if you haven't already, and think of the part that you want to focus on. Maybe it's just like, hi, this is me, my company name is this, and this is what we do. That would be a great place to start for you to build and expand on. Whoa, oh, not that fast. Sorry, guys. Man. Okay. Let's see, was I here? Yes, sorry. So, and I'll provide this for you. There's nothing here that I can tell you that you don't already know. They're just good reminders of how to engage and when you're talking to someone. And I know what I'm talking about because I can look at you confidently and we can have an intelligent conversation about what it is I do, and I'm not stumbling over my words. Making the eye contact, this is all. He owned the stage, appearing relaxed. There's one point where he slowed down on key points, making them more dramatic and memorable. Remembering back on week 1, 2, we talked about your story. It needs to be memorable and it needs to be repeatable. So if you meet someone and you're like, hi, my name's Rich Smith and I'm a consultant, I'm at the SBDC and I do this and I also do this and I did the impact thing and I'm stumbling, I'm kind of jumping around. I'm like, how repeatable is that? And somebody's going to go, I met this crazy guy that does all this stuff. But, right? And it's like, oh, I met Lewis and he does this and I can tell you and I can refer you now because I know very clearly and concisely what that person does. So if you can repeat it and they can repeat it, it becomes memorable, and then word of mouth becomes that much more easier for customers to talk about you, right? So I like that one. Out of everything, the intentional pauses, adding impact and that kind of stuff. And this is kind of the 30-second speaking drill that you can work on. Deliver one sentence of your pitch like jobs, slow, deliberate, engaging, and get feedback and clarity. Like, did that make sense? Did you understand? I mean, you really have to do this part for it to work. Do this for each line of your pitch. So once you get your pitch together, break it down. Just do one line at a time. Don't try to recite the whole 60 seconds perfectly every time, because you may not get 60 seconds with someone. Hi, my name is, my business is, boom. Work on that. Clear, pause, that type of thing. How's it impactful? And then take the next piece.
Question?
Yes?
Do you have any recommendations for like tutorials or YouTube videos that actually do that and pace it?
Yeah, and we touched on that a little bit. I mean, YouTube is a great resource, but that's where it gets a little bit subjective, because your first search, you're going to get 10,000 results. And you're going to look at this guy, this woman, this thing. And that's where you just have to kind of hone in and pick up the things that you like and what they do and they like. I haven't found anyone that
speaks to you.
Right. I've picked up things here and there about different people, and I'm like, oh, I like that and I like that. Because speaking and engaging and going through those things is, it's subjective, and it's like what works and what doesn't. You have to figure that out. Yeah, it is. But the more you do it, and it doesn't happen overnight either. It takes weeks, and every opportunity you have to force yourself to go to that networking event, and but it does. And go to something. We used to have the Million Cups here. You could go, and they had the Million Cups movement. They're kind of in other agency or other ecosystems now. They still have it in Orlando and Tampa and stuff, but it's called the Million Cups. You can that's actually a good one. Like, look up the Million Cups, and they're startups and businesses that are pitching, and they're presenting and so if you find yourself somewhere visiting somebody and there's one available, check it out. That's a good idea. And any of the pitch competitions, you can listen to people pitching their stuff, attend them, see what they're doing.
Now, Rich, when you say get peer feedback, do you mean, because I know you said stay away from a relative.
Yeah, this is, to me, like your cohort. Like, record yourself and post it on the Slack channel, and we'll just rip it apart, right? That's what, like, if you go, oh, that's great, good job, what can I do with that? That's the other thing. So talking about businesses, and you put a contact me on your webpage, right? Or a feedback. I sell cookies, and you do a survey. Did you like my cookie, yes or no? What can I do with that data? Is that measurable? Is that actionable? Frank, I just went through this. We talked about this the other day, right? what can I do with that information? So be intentional and make sure that you're using that in a way that helps you.
And the reason why I asked the word here is like, let's say you're a scientist and you're pitching something science related, you know, would it be better to go to somebody who can understand that, or just, because somebody here might be like, well, that sounds good, but I don't understand.
Yeah, you have to seek out those individuals, right? So if that's your customer, or you're looking for peer feedback on the architecture of the software that you're building, I'm not your audience for that, right? I can give you aesthetics. I'm a designer too by nature. That's why I pulled the Steve Jobs things. But I can give you aesthetics and user interface type of feedback. And I'm going to hand it off to somebody to build it, right? Because I don't want to spend the time to code that out. But yeah, you have to find those people specific to the industry or on your customer. It's a good example. That's a great niche thing that's a little bit harder to identify. It's easier for some of the brick and mortar B2B or B2C customers to find the customers. Anything?
Well, I was just wondering about where would we realistically be doing a quote-unquote pitch? Because when I think about the people that I am seeking as clients, it usually is after what I refer to as a discovery call,
right,
that I am able to quote-unquote give a pitch based on the content that they reveal to me.
Perfect. You kind of summed up this entire workshop. So while it's called the Pitch Lab, we're providing you different key tools and techniques and resources to be able to do any of those types of pitches. While you may not take a stage and say, I'm competing for a $10,000 prize pitch because this is my idea, this is meant to allow you to work on the storytelling and the value proposition and to prepare you for normal conversation about your business. So hopefully, if you do ever come up with something, this would help you actually take the stage and that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to give you a couple of different options to be able to use this information. So when you're making the pitch, when you're on a discovery call, when you're creating a web page, lots of different scenarios or use cases. So creating a billboard on I-10, there has to be a hook. You have to grab somebody in the first 10 seconds, they say. 10, 15, 30 seconds, depends on the length if you're doing a long form YouTube video. Hopefully in the first, if I posted this, I would probably rephrase the caption for something that somebody hasn't seen or heard or whatever to draw them in to click on it. But in the first 30 seconds, I got to get them to watch the other 45 minutes. So the hook. And then hopefully the hook contains the problem and the solution and part of the impact. So if you can synopsis that in the first 30 seconds, you shouldn't have to watch the other 45 minutes. The other 45 minutes just is the long form that breaks it down, and we pull out the first 30 seconds so we can post that on YouTube and social media and all that good stuff. But so clearly identifying the pain point, how does your business product solve the problem? Again, this is going back to the same thing. Why did we start the business? What do we offer? If it's a service or a product, how do we do it better? And then we create the measurable, the impact. Finally, the call to action. I want your testimonial. I want your business. I want your credit card, right? Whatever it is that they're going to get to sign up to generate that revenue or to get that customer. And I'll keep this in the slide deck. I won't break this completely down. If I get out of the way. Capturing the audience the first 10 seconds. What's the problem? This just gives you a little bit more, keep it concise and relatable. No industry jargon here. We can do that in a later slide. Small business owners struggle with digital marketing, losing customers to bigger competitors. Solution, our platform automates marketing for small businesses, helping them grow without hiring an expert. So I'm just trying to give you some examples of ways to use it. And then again, so the first hook was Did you know that 60% of small businesses fail because they don't have the right digital tools? Problem solution. It's not going to have an answer from here. What measurable results or proof can you show? Specific results, like we talked about. We touched on this a bit. The success stories, the statistics. If you don't have data yet, use credible testimonials, industry insights. Our users see 40% increase of customer engagement within the first 3 months. That's a pretty broad statement that you can use if you've got a couple of customers and they're seeing success. As long as you can back it up when somebody says, hey, how did you do that? Just be able to be ready to talk about that. And then what do you want them to do next? Sign up, join today. What was that? Join now, this for 6 weeks free, claim your offer. And this is more of the live pitching. So this class culminates into the final class where, if interested, not required, we do have some people where you can work on your pitch and you can come in and you can talk up and can do your 60-second pitch about your company, and we can provide some feedback. And that's kind of how this kind of thing wraps up. And then so I've given you some information, and this is the big one. I like the 60-second one because you always hear about the 30-second elevator thing, but I mean,
back to the outline,
yes,
please. Sorry.
this one, one more.
No, before that, where it has the different. Okay, there we go.
Yes. I can email it, or you can join the Slack channel where it's already there. Okay.
The next slide, after solution.
Let's see. There you go. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, thank you.
So, and then I just gave you an example here of kind of how to break down that includes the problem, the solution, the impact, and the call to action. So this is kind of like we are here now in week 3, where you have the opportunity in the next 2 weeks before the next class to go back and work on. So anybody that's joining new, you're not behind. You're right in line where you should be. You're here. You need to think about your mission and vision, your value, your unique value, opportunity, what makes you different, and then how do you use that to tell a story? Imagining yourself on a little video on the front page of your website. This is me, this is who we are, this is our mission, this is what we do, and this is why we do it. I got into the business because of this, and this is how we do it. All right, so we kind of covered that from week 1. Week 2 was just kind of about stage presence, confidence, eye contact, but it's all about the content. The better we get at the content, the better we become. And then it's just practice. It really is just practice. And then we've heard that as kids growing up playing sports, you got to practice, or your piano lessons, right? Practice does make almost perfect. We are human. So just make sure that you are providing value in your statements and what you're offering as a business. So that's me. If you don't have my direct contact information, you're more welcome to scan that, my cell number, my email address, and you can text me anytime. I usually have that on so you guys can connect. And then, I don't know if I have the final week on here. So 2 weeks, March 18th, same place. If you guys are comfortable with it being up here, since we're kind of a small crowd and it's a little bit, we don't have the walkers by from downstairs in the hallway and stuff, and we can use this space. Yes? I'm sorry? Oh, I can send you a link. So it's a platform that allows for communication, and it allows me to load all the resources, including the handouts and the but I'll make sure that
So what's yours?
I'll send you. So if you want to just text me back, just text me your name, and I'll make sure that I'll send you the Slack channel. And I think we're right on time. We have a few minutes. I'll go back to the so that's what we're aiming for in week 6 is the pitch event, where you can take your information and present it in front of the class and get some real-time feedback and some, but hopefully in week 5. So if you want to opt out and not do week 6, you don't have to present. No one's forcing you to present. You can come and listen to the presentations. But hopefully we're going to be ready after week 5, April 15th. So we'll have our preparation and we'll be ready for that. So that's kind of how we're outlining it, but we're open to flexibility to being able to modify it as needed.
Will that pitch event be recorded so we can hear and see ourselves?
Yes, yes.
And that's a 60-second pitch?
We'll do the 60 seconds. So I outline, and I'll make sure that if you're not on the Slack channel that I email it to the group, because the framework is to do your 60-second is in this slide deck.
$10,000 prize, right?
Well, hopefully once we get you through this exercise, you'll be able to apply for those things, yes.
So you're saying the pitch, the 60-second pitch with a slide deck?
It's up to you. I'm not requiring anything, for this particular thing. So we could have a whole nother class on just the pitch deck where we would go over the 11 slides. And I'm happy to put a resource. There's a couple of resources that I have. I can give you a couple of pitch deck samples if you want to do a pitch deck. But can you go through a pitch deck in 60 seconds? No. This will be you taking the X on the stage and going, good afternoon, my name is, my business is, we do this, our offerings are, you want to work with us because we do this faster and more efficiently than our competitors, and the results say we're 25% faster than the industry leaders. That's a little bit more of so expand a little bit, you've got 30 seconds. So think the reason that I introduced the persuasion and the stage part, one, because you're going to be in front of us talking, but those pauses will help you get through the 60 seconds. So you can actually write about 40 to 45 seconds, but if you're taking a step forward and you're making a little bit of a pause, and do you know what it's like to run a small business? I bet you all do, right? That little 3-second line took 6 seconds. So you can draw it out a little bit. So use some of those techniques, right? Because I'm looking for those types of things. Because if you just take the X, hello, my name is Rich and I have a business, come buy from me. Right. No, I'm looking for some eye contact, a little bit of interaction with the audience, ask us a question. Steve Jobs made us laugh, right? It's one of the reasons why I wanted to share that. It's just a little bit of humor or a direct question or why. And if you need one slide, or if you have one slide that is here's your course timeline, and it's just like, if you've got a nice logo, yeah, we'll do this, we'll have it in here. And we can put the slide up and you can have your logo and your website address and some free marketing and your QR code. Hi, my name is, a picture of you. My company is this. Yeah, happy to put that up. But just think about if you do have 1 or 2 slides, 60 seconds. And we'll go through that the 2 weeks before the final. So you have plenty of time. So there's no huge requirement. There's no huge deliverable here. The biggest part is what you have is the worksheets. That's where the real work is happening. Awesome. Happy to chat with you afterwards if you have more questions. Happy to talk to you on Slack or via text. I'll try to make myself as available as possible for you through this process and after. There are a bunch of other classes on the SBDC website, including tax preparation. There's a live plan, how to write a business plan, right? That's coming up on April 22nd, I believe. And then we're coming back if you have more questions about starting your business. If you just started, I'm doing a how to start a Florida business. So we're covering SunBiz, EIN number, IRS, taxes, where to go, the specific websites. And if you need that, I have that printout. I have that checklist if you want to take that with you today. And you can look it over. Basically everything that's in that packet, we just go through it in 90 minutes in a class. So, awesome. Well, thank you all. I appreciate you. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you giving me your time today. So thank you.